Ok, perfecto. A las 8:15 está, ¿verdad, Cristian? Ok, muy bien, gracias. Bueno, señor Arce, nosotros estamos tratando de dirigir a las otras personas que están en sala de espera y que estuvieron conectadas aquí en esta sala para que vuelvan. Pero mientras tanto, bueno, estamos aquí con Daniela Sáenz, que es una de las asistentes. Yo creo que para cumplir el tiempo, porque tenemos apenas media hora exacta hasta las 8:15, podemos empezar con su presentación, por favor, y en la medida en que se vayan conectando otras personas, bueno, les vamos a ir dando las indicaciones. Si le parece bien.
Yeah, that's fine, no problem. We can proceed. It's perfect.
Muy
Yes.
bien, perfecto. Entonces,
Sure.
muchísimas gracias, señor Arce, por haber respondido a la invitación de APC Colombia. De verdad nos sentimos muy honrados de tener esta experiencia de Bangladesh en el Día de la Cooperación Sur-Sur. Esta presentación va a quedar grabada y va a quedar disponible también en nuestra página web, así que es muy importante que nosotros tengamos registro de la presentación de esta iniciativa, que es muy interesante y que es muy novedosa y que varias personas han manifestado interés en este tema. Así que le agradecemos mucho su presencia. Veo que ya se están conectando más personas que estaban en sala de espera para las otras salas. Les agradecemos mucho su presencia. Vamos a presentar al señor Arte Elahi Manik, que es el jefe de oficina de tecnología del programa Aspire to Innovate del gobierno de Bangladesh. Le agradecemos mucho que nos presente la experiencia de la Corte virtual como una nueva dimensión en la judicatura. Y el señor Mohamed Arte-Elahi es, como les decía, el jefe de tecnología del programa Aspire to Innovate y ha liderado proyectos de larga escala para establecer el gobierno digital en Bangladesh. Esta experiencia también se ha compartido con otros países del sur y hace parte también de las experiencias y de los estudios de caso de la plataforma South Galaxy. Así que nos sentimos muy honrados de tenerlo aquí. Por temas de tiempo no me extiendo en mi introducción. La idea es que el señor Arte Elahi, por favor, nos presente su experiencia a través de las preguntas orientadoras que nosotros compartimos con él para entender por qué esto se considera una buena práctica en temas de cooperación sur-sur. Y al final trataremos de dar un espacio para las preguntas de los asistentes. Les agradecemos mucho, pedimos disculpas por los problemas técnicos de conexión que nos quitó un poco de tiempo para esta presentación, pero agradecemos mucho a los asistentes, el señor Maduro, Sonia Hernández, Erika Viviana Sisa, Leticia, que volvió, muchísimas gracias, Marta Rocha, Sonia Hernández. Les agradecemos su presencia. De verdad, señor Elahi, muchísimas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros y le cedo la palabra para que por favor nos presente su experiencia. Yo le voy a dar la indicación más o menos a las 8:10, finalizarla para tener ese espacio, al menos unos 5 minutos, dejar para preguntas de los asistentes. Le agradezco mucho y adelante.
Thank you so much. I'm really honored. And I'd like to thank you all that you have given me the chance to tell something, particularly on the issues that we experienced since last year. And I'm really honored for that. So let me give me the chance to share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Sí, la estamos viendo.
Okay.
Ahora, en este momento no, estaba hace un momento y ahora no la vemos. ¿Puede volver a compartirla, por favor?
Oh, I see. Okay, let me try again. Is it okay now?
Ya, sí la estamos viendo en este momento.
Okay, thank you so much. The issue that right now I'm going to present is basically it has a historical background for this country, because you know that Aspire to Innovate, in short ATY, this is the program. Earlier it worked under directly under the disposal of Honorable Prime Minister of this country. Later on, it started working closely with the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology. This is the initiative taken by Government of Bangladesh in collaboration with UNDP Bangladesh, and it has been working in this country for last 1 decade. And this program is responsible for the digital transformation, not only limited to technology development, but also policy support for this digital transformation, as well as simplification and public engagement, having services from the government. And right now in Bangladesh, in last 1 decade, what we have done, with the collaboration of almost all the government agencies, we estimated that near about 7,500 services are there to be digitized in this country to create the end-to-end digital government. Among those numbers, around 2,500 services are directly connected to the people, which you can say G2C services. Those are also to be digitized. And as far as the declaration of the government, as far as the milestone is concerned for this country, we are supposed to digitize 90% services, public services, by 2021. This was a huge challenge, but we took the challenge, and we are also in line with the target by this year, that is the current year. We are supposed to digitize 87% of the total public services in this country. This was a huge challenge, and during this journey of last 1 decade, we experienced lots of complexities, we experienced lots of challenges. We tried our level best to transform those challenges into opportunities. And finally, we trust the another wing of this country, which is constitutionally independent wing, which is called Judiciary. It has basically 2 parts. Number 1 is upper judiciary. It consists of appellate division and high court division, and the subordinate courts established in 64 districts areas of this country. The number of subordinate courts is approximately 1,200. So we started this initiative last year. Now I'm going through how about our experience, what we did and how we could do that. But we considered this challenge and we transformed this challenge into opportunity successfully. We understood that in Bangladesh judiciary, our calculation told us that approximately 3.1 million case backlogs are there, where about 1 million is in higher court, that is in appellate division, either in appellate division or in high court division. And 1,200 courts are there throughout this country, where only 1,700 judges are working. This is a huge challenge for them to reduce the case backlog and ensure the justice for the people. And also lots of other stakeholders where the judicial system is completely dependent and connected. The prisons, hospitals, bar stations, police, district magistrates, anti-corruption councils, and others. So to ensure the end-to-end public services for the people from the judiciary, the comprehensive plan was actually required to connect all the dependent stakeholders to the judicial system of this country. In during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, the Honorable Chief Justice realized that, and also the judicial body, they realized that the detainees, the legal counsels, judges, and the people all are in a trouble, particularly having the bail, because the courts were closed, the judges were at home, and detainees, they are at the prison. And then we started to understand that how to overcome this situation, because We did a lot in public service delivery, in civil administration digitization, but we are yet to start the digitization, the same initiative for the judicial systems in this country. For the detainee, they are waiting for that, how I can get bail, particularly for the women and children. This is a complex thing. How can I process bail for my client? This would be another challenge for the legal counsel. So they were also, in some extent unemployed as well. And the economic crisis were increasing day by day. Finally, the judges, they were also prepared to serve, but they didn't know how to conduct the court in the pandemic scenario. And finally, we all know that justice delayed is justice denied. As because of this, delay in judicial system, we started to understand how to transform these complexities, these challenges into new arena, and can identify the better solution for the people. First of all, the challenge was physical presence. So we need to convert the physical presence into virtual presence. The second one, the institutional interdependency, because there are lots of stakeholders and institutions depends each on other, and thus this was another complexity, and we are needed to integrate those agencies in such a way that they can work combinedly in a virtual environment. The third one is information inconsistency. This is another complexities, one of the major complexities we identified during the COVID pandemic, and also to reduce the case backlog. And to address that, we understood clearly that we needed to have interoperability among the digitizations, among the systems connected to the judicial process. And the last one is definitely case backlog. So rapid clearing of the backlog would be the solution. So understanding these transformations requirement, we also addressed for the citizen 3 indicators. Number one is time, how to reduce time for the citizen to ensure the justice for them. Second one, how to reduce cost for the citizen to get justice. And the fourth is definitely visit, because the number of visits to the courts would definitely create extra time and cost for the citizen. So we needed to reduce the three. And for the judges, lawyers, and other stakeholders connected to the judicial system, they need to reduce time and visit, and even for the pandemic scenario last year. And thus we created our initial solution. As I have already mentioned that in last 1 decade, we created lots of digital building blocks in this country for the civil administration. We created our digital decision process system for the government, so that government can take decision digitally, electronically. We created information service gateway for the people, for the citizen. We created national interoperable payment and transaction platforms, and lots of other platforms are there. So we started to understand that for a quick delivery, for a quick solution for judiciary, what we could do, we started to identify some components of these digital building blocks and connected them and created a solution, very initial solution for the judiciary within just 2 weeks to address the bail scenario, the bail complexities, and to issue the bail electronically, where citizen can apply for their bail by with the help of the legal counsel electronically without any physical presence. And the judges can also go for conducting courts virtually. And finally, the bail order, that is the release order, can also be sent to the prisons electronically, and thus the prisons, from the prisons, the detainee can also be released automatically without any special physical presence in the courts. And initiation of the virtual court in 22, it has some two other histories or events that took place. Number one is, at the time, our parliament was not in session. This is another problem. So the existing law and legislative bodies, they didn't allow this type of digital intervention in judicial system, particularly issuing bail, because we didn't have any particular specific law to do that. So that's why, as the parliament was not in session, the honorable president of this country, he issued a special ordinance just to address the virtual court system in this country, and eventually that was converted into a special act for this country on 19th July 2020. And thus, this act directly addressed and validated the digital intervention and virtual court system for this country first time. And after this digital intervention, creating the virtual courts, just within 1 week, what we saw is that around 7,000 legal counsels that is the lawyers, they enrolled in the system, although we thought that this would create heavy resistance from the lawyers. But finally, as we conducted lots of consultation program with the lawyers, the number of lawyers in this country is around 100,000. We created number of events, online events, virtual events with them. We convinced them, and we also build their capacity to start, hearing online by using electronic system, and we did it. And just by 1 week, we saw that more than 7,000 legal counsels, they enrolled in the system, and within 1 week, we identified more than 7,000 bail applications were submitted through the electronic system, and this was increased in a historical number by end of this year, last year. And we started to understand the 4 building blocks that we could leverage and we can scale it up. Number 1 is judicial leadership, because we identified heavy judicial leadership, inclusive judicial leadership from the judicial system with the blessings from the chief of the state. And the second one is definitely demand. We created the demand. And the third one is adaptive capacity of the judiciary, because initially, although I understood that it would be very much difficult for everyone to implement this type of new concept, particularly electronic concept for judiciary, but ultimately we found that this was easy because we could convince them, and the capacity was really awesome. And fourth one is technology, as we developed lots of digital building blocks in our country, so we could easily leverage and reuse lots of components from the technology, and we could develop the solution within a very short period of time. And the foundation that was created is, first of all, I have already mentioned the act that was issued last year. The platform that we are talking about is called MyCourt. MyCourt is the name of the virtual court platform. And the third one is digital filing. This is the integral part, as we developed the same for the civil administration earlier. So we reuse that concept, we reuse that technology, we reuse the best practices and experiences we gathered in last 10 years, and then we implemented the same for the judicial system. And the fourth one is Judicial Portal. This is the access gateway to the judicial systems for all the courts. We developed the initial version of the Judicial Portal 5 years back, just for information dissemination for the people. At that time, this was not targeted for any service delivery or something like that. We repurposed this Judicial Portal system, the access gateway, in such a way that it could address the access complexities for the people to the judicial system, and also the same for the judges and court officials. The cause list, we converted the cause list into electronic cause list so that the people can see the hearing date and other court orders easily without any physical movement. And the last one is bail confirmation system. Earlier, the bail was issued, and this was very much difficult for the judges and other courts to justify whether this is valid or not. Once we made it electronic, then it was easy for all, and the courts, for the police, for the hospitals, for the prisons to justify whether this is valid bail order or not. So these are the components that we created as a foundation for future scaling up of a judicial system. These are simple statistics. Last year, that is till December 2020, more than 12,000 lawyers, they enrolled, and they submitted around 50,000 applications, bail applications in the system. And right now, they are actually, we are scaling up this solution, and we are adding more and more features and functionalities. So this is actually increasing right now. More than 30 benches in High Court, they started to use this type of virtual court mechanism. And more than 200 courts, subordinate courts for this country, they started to use the virtual court system. And till December 2020, more than 20,000 bail orders were issued, and more than 30,000 virtual hearings took place in last year. And at the end of last year, we identified that we need to create a holistic architecture that is the framework of the total judicial service delivery system, that is connecting all the stakeholders, creating multi-diversified access mechanisms for the people, for the judges, for the legal counsels, and also integrating some other value-added services like online payment system, identification mechanism, of the people, of the judges, of the legal counsels. This can be their national identification number. We have our NID database separate. We connected that. People, those who don't have any, national identification number, where their age is below 18, they can also be identified by their birth registration system. As we had our national transaction, the online payment mechanism, we connected that platform to this judicial system. And finally, as Bangladesh has its own Bangladesh national digital architecture, so we followed that architecture and connected that to this judicial platform as well. So connecting all the stakeholders, we created the blueprint of end-to-end digital service delivery platform for the whole judiciary. We developed it. We developed the first version last year, and right now we are working on that. And as far as the access for the judicial officers and judges are concerned, we always emphasize ease of use of any system. So that's why having very minimum level of technical understanding, any judicial officer or judicial court officials or judges, lawyers, they can use the system. And we created a single access platform to all the judicial services. So the silo mode of operation in digitization or in operations was just eliminated, and we created the single access platform for all judicial services in this country. And we created the access dashboard where the judges and court official can enter into and can see all relevant information, data applicable to him or her. And for monitoring purpose, they can also go through that. We started to work on digital filing, that is digitization of the filing mechanism. One of the complex systems in judicial body is filing. So we started at the very beginning with the Supreme Court at the appellate division, that how to digitize the filing mechanism and connect it to the bail system so that the end-to-end digital system can take place, and total simplification would also supplement the better service delivery from the judiciary. So thus, we created the digital filing system for Supreme Court, and we connected it. And right now we are working on that to scale it up. And cause list, I have already mentioned that we transformed our manual cause list system into electronic cause list system, which is called e-cause list. And this is a public information. People can see, however, the court orders, however, the next date of hearing, and also the legal counsels, they can get relevant information from the electronic cause list platform for judiciary. There is a special monitoring dashboard for Honorable Chief Justice to monitor the case operation, court operation, and the progress of reduction of case backlog. So this is the special dashboard exclusively developed for the Honorable Chief Justice. And for other judges, we developed another dashboard to monitor cases and operations under his or her jurisdiction for a particular court or bench or a particular district or session. And finally, as far as only the bail application is concerned, we identified that so far more than 300,000 applications are disposed, where more than 8,700 women they released from the prisons by means of this electronic order issued from the system, and more than around 2,000 children they are also released, and more than 100,000 bail release order have been issued from this particular system. So thus, we created another history for this country, because this was very complex mechanism for our country to change the mindset to address the capacity of the officials working in judiciary, because this is the first time. So we overcome those challenges by 3 indicators. Number one, we reuse our experiences that we gathered in our public service delivery digitization and simplification. The second one, we could successfully create the demand that actually created and supplemented the success of this story. And the third one is definitely the policy support and the policy framework that we could created in judiciary last year. So this is all in a nutshell from my side. regarding the transformation of digital transformation in judiciary and the practices that so far we experienced in last year. Thank you so much.
Excelente, doctor Arfelaji, muchísimas gracias. Cumplió perfecto con el tiempo, le agradezco muchísimo. Una experiencia muy significativa de verdad para el Sur Global. Esperamos que las personas que están aquí como asistentes también sientan como que estos espacios para conocer experiencias de países como Bangladesh en el sistema judicial son de verdad valiosos para que nos permitan identificar otras opciones, ver cómo países están solucionando ese tipo de necesidades que se vieron incrementadas todavía más durante la pandemia y que hay soluciones muy efectivas, muy ágiles, rápidas, que democratizan el acceso de las personas a este tipo de servicios. Me parece magnífico y le agradezco muchísimo que lo haya presentado en este espacio. Doy la palabra a los asistentes. Si tienen alguna pregunta, por favor, para que la puedan expresar al doctor Elaji, para que aprovechar su presencia en este espacio que nosotros hemos organizado desde APC Colombia como ánimo, como un aporte para el diálogo sobre la cooperación sur-sur. Si alguien tiene...
Sí, gracias. Sí, tengo una pregunta para el profesor. Me gustaría que precisara si, digamos, en términos de los costos para las personas del proceso, cuánto, de una manera muy global, cuánto le podía costar un proceso a una persona antes y ahora, cómo es ese costo para las personas, si eso ha afectado sensiblemente el costo para quienes acceden a la justicia, buscan un proceso para hacer justicia. Gracias.
Thank you so much. As I mentioned during this presentation is that our objective was to reduce cost, not to create any extra cost for the people and even for the legal counsel. So using this electronic platform didn't create any extra cost for the people or for the legal counsel. Hello, do you hear me?
Bueno, perfecto. Me dicen que aquí entre los asistentes tenemos a una persona de Aruba. Les agradezco muchísimo. Me imagino que otros países también tenemos representantes. Si no hay preguntas adicionales y tratando de cumplir con el tiempo, teniendo en cuenta que debemos volver a la sala principal, les agradezco muchísimo, de verdad, su participación en este espacio. De nuevo, mil disculpas por el tiempo inicial que perdimos, sin embargo, siento que logramos escuchar la experiencia de Bangladesh. Es una experiencia muy importante. Como les decía al inicio, esta grabación va a estar disponible en la página web de APC Colombia para las personas que quieran acceder y conocer más sobre este tipo de experiencias que se están registrando y que son efectivas y que están dando resultados en países del sur global como en Bangladesh. Le agradezco muchísimo, profesor Elaji. No sé si usted tiene algún tema adicional que plantear en esta sala, o de lo contrario ya les voy a compartir el enlace de la sala principal para que nos dirijamos a la sala. Si alguien más tiene algún comentario, tenemos unos minutos.
Thank you. Just 30 seconds is that I'm really honored for giving me this chance to talk about the judicial system. Just one thing is that we always encourage joint collaboration with any other countries or any other region of this world, and we want to share our knowledges. We want to share our experience, the challenges that we faced last year. We also want to learn from other countries that how about their challenges and how about their transformation took place in last year, especially for judicial system and especially in pandemic situation. Thanks so much again.
Excelente. Pues cumplimos con el tiempo, cumplimos con el objetivo, que era lo más importante, de escuchar esta importante experiencia. De nuevo, muchísimas gracias desde Colombia por aceptar la invitación de APC Colombia. Ha sido un honor tenerlo aquí. Y bueno, los invito a pasar a la sala principal. Les dejé en el chat el enlace para que por favor entremos a escuchar las conclusiones y quedamos en contacto. Les agradezco muchísimo, el señor Robert Maduro, Leticia, muchísimas gracias. ¿A quien más veo aquí? Los asistentes, espero pues que hayan disfrutado esta presentación y volvemos a la sala principal. Muchísimas gracias y buen día desde Colombia.
Gracias, feliz día.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.